Welcome along to Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition, and we have got a GB News exclusive for you. Yes, we have obtained footage of US military in Washington, D.C. ahead of Donald Trump's patrolling of the streets. So the president has been cracking down on crime himself in the Capitol. He's going out tonight to crime fight like Batman. So stay tuned for the very first images. I'm not joking, by the way, this is happening, and we are going to bring them to you. But, of course, anything can happen. I mean, he spoke earlier to troops out there, and this was his inspirational message.
One of the things we're going to be redoing is your parks. I'm very good at grass because I have a lot of golf courses all over the place. I know more about grass than any human being, I think, anywhere in the world.
I love it. I'm sorry, I love it. I think it's great. Welcome back to Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition. I've got a couple of big stories coming out of the United States for you, actually. So, firstly, President Trump is currently patrolling Washington, D.C. as part of his crime crackdown. He is, as we speak, joining with the police and the National Guard. President Trump is currently doing somewhat of a Batman impression by going out and helping to fight crime. I quite like this. We've got Hillary Fordwick here, who's a US political commentator in Washington, D.C. Watch it. Is Trump near you? Is he near you in the Batmobile? How's it all going? What's going on?
Well, actually, Patrick, pleasure to be with you. I'm actually in the Willard Hotel. Sorry, I'm in the business center, hence the chair, but I'm one block from the White House down here for meetings. So I'm going to be very interested when I drive out of here if I actually do see him. But I actually think this is fabulous. There's nothing better, you know, in military situations, you want your general right out front there. And as we know, you know, Winston Churchill, they had to pull him down from the rooftops in London, right? He wanted to get right in the thick of it. I think this sets a good example. And I will quote, actually, the former DC police chief, Patrick, he's Stephen Sund, and he said, you know, that this has actually cracked down amazingly. Last year, in 2024, there were 497 carjackings. Last week, the week before they started this, there were 3. This week, there was only 1. Pam Bondi has come out and said that there have been already 630 arrests and 87 illegal guns removed off the streets. So far, Patrick, they've also cleared 25 homeless shelters. So I think it's working. And what I would say to all those protesters, you look at the protesters, it's very interesting, Patrick. The actual demographics of Washington, D.C., it's 53% is Black and Hispanic. 99% of those protesters are elderly white people, so they don't live in D.C. When people get older in D.C., they tend to move away. They tend to go to somewhere like Florida, non-tax states, somewhere else. That isn't the population here, so they're being bussed in or shipped in to come and protest. And last but not least, you know what I would do to all those protesters? I just rip away their handbags and say, well, you think the crime is good, we'll take your handbag, we'll take what's in your handbag.
It's a Route 1 approach, that, I think. So what are we expecting President Trump to be doing here? I mean, I was thinking he was going on some kind of ride-along, really. And also, as well, you know, compare and contrast to what we're seeing here in Britain, especially in our capital, but right across the country. It's not just all about London, but you've got, you know, massive amounts of phone theft. I think we are responsible for something like 40% of all of Europe's phone thefts happen in Britain. Then we've got huge levels of sexual assault and violence, huge levels of knife crime, huge levels of shoplifting. And the latest line from our government at the moment appears to be bury your head in the sand, everything's absolutely fine. Whereas President Trump is admitting that there's a problem and trying to do something about it, isn't he?
Well, he is, and I will say something about the UK, Patrick. When I was just there 2 weeks ago and I was live in the GB News studios, I hadn't been in London for a few months, or a year, maybe over a year. I was actually shocked. The amount of shops, and I wasn't in London much of the time, but in different cities, I was shocked at the number of security type looking personnel walking around and you being greeted when you went into a shop, the kind of security that I don't ever remember in England, certainly not when I was growing up and I lived there. So obviously the country's had to change dramatically to address that sort of crime. And now to the beginning of your question as to what exactly is President Trump doing? Well, I don't know exactly, but what I've heard and people are talking about in general is, you know, he's there to rally the troops. He's there to encourage them. He's there to support them. Yesterday, Vice President Vance and Pete Hegseth, they both went down to Union Station. Now, that's our big station here. That will be the equivalent in England and London to Waterloo, Paddington, any of the big stations. The crime there, Patrick, I've taken the train there many times up to New York City. You take the faster Acela. Unless you're in the business lounge, in that station. I can tell you as a young businesswoman walking through the station, it's ghastly. I mean, you get these homeless people literally coming up in your face and screaming and doing all things. It's sad.
Well, we appear to be going the other way, sadly, here. I mean, we're seeing now more and more how more of the decriminalised rough sleeping for a start, so that doesn't help. But then, yeah, we seem to be turning into a much more dangerous country. Look, thank you so much, Hillary. Always a pleasure. And I hope to speak to you again very soon. Hillary Fordridge, US political commentator who is in Washington, D.C. for us. Jamie, is that the kind of stuff you want to see our political leaders doing? Instead of maybe ignoring a problem, actually going after it and putting themselves on the ground?
Well, you do. And also, you kind of want the leader of your country to be taken seriously, whatever they turn their hand to. And I mean, I saw a clip of Starmer today with half an army uniform on. I just got the giggles. And isn't it awful when the leader of your country is like that? With Trump, he's serious, he means business, he's respected by his people. They love him. They love him. And, you know, they love him because he's doing all the right things. In this country at the moment, we have a lawless country. We're seeing that every single day. We've got countries in chaos when it comes to law and order.
Not true.
We've got no control of our borders. And then you go over the pond, you've got a country that's taking crime really seriously, and they are deporting people and have stopped all illegal
They love the Donald in DC. Do you know what percentage he got of the vote in DC in the presidential election?
Oh, go on.
6.47.
There you go. Well, they lost, didn't they?
And then the entire country...
But, I mean, in DC, we're talking about DC.
You know,
this is clearly a
Britain
political...
accounts for 40% of all phone thefts in Europe. It's not all right, is it?
No, it's not all right. Nobody's saying it. Nobody's saying it's all right.
It's all right. I get that it might not be you personally, but now there's a lot of people like Lewis Goodall or Fraser Nelson who are coming out and are saying, actually, everything's fine. Well, it's not.
There's an issue around phone thefts, but crime is not spiralling in Britain.
No, do you know what? It is spiralling.
There's an issue on shoplifting and phone thefts, which have gone through the roof, and both need to be tackled.
Do you know, I see this day in, day out.
Like a rape every hour in London.
People aren't reporting crime anymore, and this is one of the biggest problems this country's got. People are actually not reporting crime.
So what would you do, Jamie?
Because the police don't show up. They're closing all the police stations for a start, so I would make sure police stations were open.
Where's the money coming from?
But, well, what could be more important, Matthew?
No, I agree. Absolutely. But you tell me where the money's coming from, Jamie.
Look at Sadiq Khan.
It's on Nigel's magic money tree.
All the money to introduce ULEZ, but he's going to shut half of his police stations in London, and he's done that now.
Yeah, I mean, those figures don't add up, like all figures from before.
Well, there you go. What do you make of this? So that compare and contrast. So we just had the breaking news this evening that Britain is now responsible for 40% of all phone thefts in Europe. Meanwhile, President Trump out and about.
The contrast couldn't be more depressing, right? Because he has cleared up the southern border. Then he did this press conference in the White House, packed. The reporters had to wait outside, and he said, we are going to go in D.C., because the D.C. for decades has been a feud of the Democrats, bureaucrats, and people who it has become one of those safe or sanctuary cities. I've been to the D.C. It was terrible. And he said, now we are going to remove the homeless as well. We're going to take our capital back. And did you notice, as soon as he said homeless or homeless-looking people will be removed, Zelensky suited up. But you know, in UK, crime is... I've lived in London for 15 years. It's unreported or underreported because the police don't show up. So maybe we come, maybe we don't come. You know, if it's odd number, maybe we show up, or if it's even number, we don't. So no surprise there. And we also, London under Sadiq Khan surpassed New York's murder, and we don't have guns.
Yeah, I mean, that is mental, actually, when you think about it. OK, all right.